So today we will learn about the biochemistry of starvations. So here we will discuss on how metabolic changes, that how metabolic adapt according to the starvation. So these are the some pictures. So these are the some pictures the which shows the starvations. So then now you may know that what is starvation. So simply the starvations by definition. So it means that it's a complete deprivations of foods, salt, and water. So when the people is consuming nothing, so that means is not taking any foods, water, then the stage is known as a starvation. So the causes of starvations may be different. So causes, so major cause for the starvation is that is the food scarcity, and the food scarcity may be occur. So during these natural calamities, so that means the disasters. So like a floods, this one like a floods, and then this earthquake. So during natural disasters, what happened? The food scarcity is there, so that the people may go to the starvations. And next, due to the these famines, and maybe due to this one extreme poverty. So nowadays you may heard a news regarding to the this one this date of this these underprivileged peoples in a different city due to the lockdown. So similarly, this food scarcity may be occur during when you lost in some sea routes for a long durations. So that time what happened? The food reserve will be over, so that the people will go to the this go to the this starvation. So the starvation is always not only the this not only during this food scarcity. So it is there is a other causes also. So though there is the availability of food, but the people may go to the starvations like the inability to obtain food. So due to the a different reason, or some people they may desire to lose weight rapidly, so that they are avoiding to take food, or certain clinical situations in which an individual cannot eat. For example, in trauma, surgery, cancer, or burns, or sometimes this for the protest in a political issues like this hunger strike. So it's a common this one protest nowadays, which is going on all over the world for the different for demanding of the different political issues. So these are the different causes by which the starvations, the people will go to the starvations. So the main purpose or main metabolic changes or adaptations during the starvations is that is the maintenance of normal blood glucose level and adequate supply of energy during this period for the different vital functions of the body. So the main purpose of these adaptations of these metabolic changes during that is the management of the energy that is required for the vital functions of the body. So when the food is not consumed, so generally that this the main source of our energy for our body is, we know that the principal proximate of this this the principal sources of the energy are that is the glucose, so carbohydrate, these fats and proteins. So and here how these carbohydrates, fats and proteins they provide the energy during the starvation. So we'll learn about these things. So so when the people is not consuming the food, that means when totally deprivations of the food, the people will depend upon the fuel reserves that presents in himself or herself. So so depending upon the fuel reserve, the persons can live for the certain periods. That is from 1 month to the 3 months. So that is depend upon the fuel reserve. So on that, what happens is fat peoples they can survive for a longer period than the lean people. So the fuel reserve for reserve in 70 kg man. So that is around this fat that is around 15 kg. So which can provide around 135,000 kilocalorie of energy. Protein he can have is 6 kg. So which can provide around approximately 24,000 kilocalorie of the energy, and carbohydrate in form of glycogen, so which is presents around 0.2 kilogram, and that can provide approximately 800 kilocalorie of the energy. So and these stores or these reserves can be utilized by a body after the after about 80 minutes. And the energy needed for 24 hours ranges from about 1600 kilocalorie in the basal state to 6000 kilocalorie depend on the extent of activities. Generally, so even during that starvation, the people do not perform, usually they do not perform the physical activity, though the energy is required for the basal activity. So for the basal metabolisms of the body. So the store quantity of this carbohydrate, so which is around that this only glycogen that is refined 2 grams, so which can provide approximately 800 kilocalories. So that is sufficient to provide the energy requirement of the body functions for about 12 to 16 hours. And the main energy for the body after that is the fat. So the person's survival rate is depends upon the fat stores of the body. So while talking about the different proteins, so protein provides energy for the body in a 3 phases. So in the first phase, that there is the it to provide this rapid depletion of this rapid protein metabolisms on the first stage. Then again slowed this metabolism of proteins, and finally rapid metabolisms again takes place. So which is near before the death. So the mechanism for maintenance of blood glucose concentration during starvations are divided into 4 sections, and on that mainly it is focused on 2 cycles. One is this one glucose cycle, and next one is the fatty acid cycle. So in a normal conditions, so when the people is it in a well-fed condition, so these persons uh, they take a food and in the form of these carbohydrates, so which is digested and absorbed in the form of glucose, and this glucose is the main source from which all the body tissues they get energy. So when this glucose is decreased, then some of the tissues, so they utilize the fatty acids. So these fatty acids, which is stored in a adipose tissue, that is hydrolyzed, and it releases a fatty acids, and this fatty acid is taken by these tissues and it is oxidized to get a energy. So if this, that is the basis how the energy is maintained. That means first glucose is utilized by all tissues. So as soon as this glucose is declined, then the body utilizes the fatty acid. So if fatty acid oxidation is also in this if fatty acid oxidation is inhibited, the blood glucose level falls in a starvation. So the person goes to the hypoglycemia. So changes in hormone levels in starvations can extend the control provided by the cycle. So that in starvations, there is the increased level of glucagons and decreased level of insulin. So that this so increased glucagon level, so it increases the fatty acid oxidations, and this increases the glycogenolysis and increases the gluconeogenesis, so which is necessary for the maintaining of this blood glucose level. So malonyl CoA. So this malonyl CoA, it's a compound. It is synthesized from a acetyl CoA during a fatty acid synthesis. And during fatty acid synthesis, this malonyl CoA is present, and this malonyl CoA inhibits the fatty acid oxidations. So in deficiency of insulin in starvations, the concentrations of malonyl CoA, so that will be decreased, so that the inhibitions of fatty acid oxidation is now released. So the fatty acid oxidations that takes place in the muscles, and which provides the energy for the muscles, so during starvations. And in a prolonged starvations, the regulations of blood glucose levels, it can be maintained by the further 2 changes. So one is that is the ketogenesis in the liver. So that means the fatty acid which is oxidized in other tissues, that is uptake by the liver, and it is converted the ketone bodies, and this ketone bodies is utilized by the other tissues for energy purpose. Apart from that, for the maintaining of the blood glucose, that liver also synthesize a glucose by means of a gluconeogenesis. So this gluconeogenesis, so that is the term by which glucose is synthesized from a non-carbohydrate source. So generally the precursors for gluconeogenesis are that is this pyruvate. So lactate and glycerol. And this pyruvate, it is from this glucosenic amino acid. So lactate, so that is the product of anaerobic glycolysis, and glycerol, so that is the compound released during a complete oxidations of fatty acids in a adipose tissue. So this glycerol, lactate, pyruvate, so that these form a precursors for a synthesis of a glucose in a liver, and this glucose helps to maintain the normal blood glucose level throughout the period of a starvation. So now we'll move on to the next slide. So these starvations we can study in a different 5 phases. So first one phase is that is a post-absorptive period. So this post-absorptive periods, that is the after consumptions of a food, and yearly starvations, intermediate starvation, prolonged starvations, and finally death. So first absorptive state, so it begins several hours after the last meal. So on high proportions of digestible carbohydrate, the first absorptive period will last 3 to 4 hours and will terminate. This first absorptive stage will terminate either with another meal or with onset of yearly starvations. So in the absorptive period is determined by the concentrations of glucose in a hepatic portal blood. So when these concentrations of glucose in hepatic portal blood falls, then there is the end of absorptive period. And during this absorptive period, this post-absorptive period, the main source of energy for the all tissues is that is provided by a glucose. So here you can see in this figure. So it is from a dietary source. So after consumptions of nutrients, so that is carbohydrates, so these are digested and absorbed in the form of glucose, and they are released into the circulations. And from these circulations, this glucose is uptaken by a different tissue, and that is utilized by this tissue for its as a source of energy. So for a different metabolisms that takes place in a different tissues, and they for that they require energy, and this energy is provided by a glucose during a post absorptive period. So next, if the people is not taking the regular foods, then now the persons goes to it is shifted from post absorptive period to the early starvation. So these early starvations, it commences after the post absorptive period and persist until about 24 hours after the last meal. So that generally these early starvations is recognized as a overnight fast. And these early starvations, it can be characterized by a glucose release and fatty acid mobilized from a adipose tissue. So these are characterized by a glucose release from liver and fatty acid mobilizations from adipose tissue. So the rate of glucose utilizing by tissues changes throughout the period in a year. So in early stage of these early starvations, the most of the tissues they utilizes a glucose, so which is provided by this lysis of stored glycogen. Later on, glucose is mainly used by brain and anaerobic tissues, and the rest of the other tissues they depends upon these oxidations of fatty acids for energy purpose. So which you can see in a figure. So this one is this figure shows a yearly stage of a yearly starvations on which so most of the tissues they are depend upon a glucose as a source of energy, and this glucose is provided by a glycogenolysis in a liver. So liver store a glucose carbohydrate in the form of glycogen, and in absence of these nutrients from an outer source, this the body uses a stored carbohydrate on the first. So glycogen is degraded into the glucose, and this glucose is utilized by the other tissues as a source of energy in the early stage of this early starvation. So later on, slowly this glucose reserve is going to degrade, and so that these carbohydrates or glucose supplies only to the anaerobic tissues such as red blood cells and brain, and rest of the tissue that is such as in muscles and kidneys, and the energy is supplied by the oxidations of fatty acids. So and this fatty acid is generally preserved in a adipose tissue, And on adipose tissue, these in the fats are stored in the form of triacylglycerol. So with the lipolysis, these triacylglycerol, they are hydrolyzed into the fatty acids and glycerols, and they enter the circulations, from where these fatty acids are uptake by different other tissues like muscles and then kidney, and this fatty acid is oxidized by these muscles to get energy, and remaining is glycerol is uptake by a glycogen, uptake by a liver for a synthesis of a glucose. So intermediate starvations. So intermediate starvations is started after the depletion of this liver glycogen stores. So generally, this liver glycogen, liver can store the glycogen. It have a limited storage of glycogen, so it is sufficient to supply the energy up to 12 to 16 hours. So after the 16 hours, what happens is liver glycogen get depleted, and now the intermediate starvations started. And whether the body is in an intermediate starvations or not, that can be characterized by two metabolic features. So one is that is a high rate of lipolysis and ketogenesis, and next one is by the enhanced rate of gluconeogenesis. So as soon as this glycogen get depleted, now the body the body is slowly, that is depend upon the mostly on the fatty acids as a source of energy. So the lipolysis, so that is the degradations of fatty acids in adipose tissue, that is increased, so that these fatty acids get released into the circulations, and these fatty acids are taken up by the muscles as a source of energy. And apart from that, these fatty acids, excess fatty acids, are also uptaken by a liver, from which these fatty acids are utilized by liver for the synthesis of ketone bodies. And once these ketone bodies are synthesized, now these ketone bodies are released into the circulations, and these ketone bodies are uptaken by the other tissues like this protein, and then this one kidney, and slowly also by a brain for the source of energy. So initially, that when in the early stage, that means these muscles, they are depend upon the fatty acids as a source of energy. So when they get a ketone bodies, now slowly they preferred ketone bodies as a source of energy than a fatty acid. So the ketone bodies, which is synthesized by a liver during intermittent fastings, intermediate starvation, so that is uptake by a muscle and a kidney, and then also a brain as a source of energy. And while talking about the brain, so before that, before the releasing of the ketone bodies, that means this brain is totally depend upon a glucose as a source of energy. As soon as there is the increased concentration of ketone bodies, then slowly these brains, it gets adapted to the ketone bodies as a source of energy, so that this the utilizations of glucose by a brain is slowly decreased. And the decreasing on the utilizes of glucose by your brains, it also help the decreasing on the synthesis of glucose by a gluconeogenesis. So on the initially, then what happened is gluconeogenesis, it is done by the using of a protein is free amino acids present in the muscles, as well as the protein degraded these amino acids released by a protein degradations. So as soon as the brain gets adapted to the ketone bodies, these protein degradations get decreased. So which we have seen in a first in a previous slides also, that protein degradations during the starvations, that occurs in a three phases. Initially high, so that is before the brain adapt with the ketone bodies. So on that, what happened, these protein degradations will be increased to provide a glucose by means of gluconeogenesis. As soon as this brain adapt to the ketone bodies, these protein degradations will be decreased, since there is the less demand of glucose by the other tissues, that's the glucose via the gluconeogenesis. So the source of amino acids for a gluconeogenesis are of from two sources. So one is from a free amino acid stored in a muscle, so majorly by a glutamine. And next, the amino acid is also provided by a degradations of a muscle protein. So after 60 hours of starvation, fat utilization account for 3/4 of the energy expenditure, a value which will rise even higher as starvation continues. So here you can see the two differences. So after 60 hours and after 8 days. So after 60 hours, what happened? The utilizations of ketone bodies, this hydroxybutyrate, it is a ketone body. So utilization of ketone bodies is around increased by 26-fold. Fatty acid is increased by 3 folds. However, after 8 days, what happened? The utilizations of ketone bodies is increased by 50 folds, and fatty acids is increased by 6 folds. So after these are depletions of these glycogens in the body, so gluconeogenesis is the only source of glucose. And in fact, these blood glucose concentrations remain remarkably constant during the intermittent and prolonged starvations. Since the body utilizes fats as a major source of energy during this stage or during this phases, the blood glucose concentrations remain constantly. Prolonged starvations. So no clear-cut divisions between the intermediate and prolonged starvations, and generally this prolonged starvations is applied. The starvations continued after about 3 weeks. So the rise in blood ketone bodies continued during intermediate and prolonged starvations. So after 20 days, these ketone bodies rises and reaches plateau at about 8 later. So the amino acids precursors because are provided on the initial. So when this brain utilizes a ketone bodies as a major source of energy, that time what happens? The gluconeogenesis will be decreased. So here you can see the arrow. So that is a dot arrow shows the decreasing on a gluconeogenesis to protein degradations to provide a glucose, and the continuous this fatty acid oxidations is there, so which provide a fat acid for synthesis of ketone bodies, and also muscles for this as a source of energy. So the rise in hydroxybutyrate leads to an increase in its oxidation by the brain, which reduces the rate of glucose utilization by this organ from about 100 gram to about 40 gram per day. So on a prolonged starvation, so totally 80% of the energy that is required for a brain is gained from a ketone bodies only, and the remaining the 20% is from a amino acid and this from a carbohydrates, and so that the glucose utilization by a brain is decreased from 100 gram to 40 gram per day. So on that also the 50% of a glucose that is provided to the brain, it is from a gluconeogenesis, and the substrate is a glycerol. So glycerol provide a 50% of glucose required by a brain during a prolonged starvation. So due to the increased ketone bodies synthesis, the body goes to the ketosis and ketonuria, and this lead to the starvation acidosis. Since these ketones bodies are acidic in nature, so the body goes to the acidosis. So continuous these secretions and releasing of the ketone bodies that lead to the starvations acidosis, and for the maintaining that what happened, the available bicarbonates they get reduced, and there is the increased pulmonary ventilations and retentions of this carbon dioxide, and increased urine acidity. So increased ammonia secretions and excretions of ammonia chloride can be seen. So these all are this reduced bicarbonate, increased pulmonary ventilations, increased urine acidity, and increased ammonia secretions and excretions of ammonia chloride. So these all are the compensatory mechanism for the starvation acidosis. And these metabolic adaptations are also seen in diabetes mellitus type 1 as well. This starvation acidosis due to the ketone bodies. So that is a similarly it can be seen in diabetes mellitus type 1, where the diabetes mellitus type 1 is that is the conditions where the body is not able to synthesize insulin. So lack of the insulin, body is not able to utilize glucose, and so that the body totally depends upon fats as a source of energy. So there is the increased fatty acid oxidations, and increased ketone body synthesis takes place. So on type 1 diabetes mellitus, this is the ketoacidosis is a common. So that the 50 cells, so after fat store depleted, ketone body formations can no longer takes place. So as soon as the fat store depleted, the synthesis of ketone body also not possible. So that brain now again shifted to the glucose as a source of energy, and this time the glucose is provided by a gluconeogenesis, and the substrate for gluconeogenesis is the degradations of protein. So that is the proteolysis. So on the third stage, that then what happened? There is the increased proteolysis takes place, and this increased proteolysis on the is also considered as a pre-mortal rise. So once the body utilize this degraded utilize the amino acids as a source of energy by means of gluconeogenesis, so that causes the huge decrease or huge loss of proteins from a body. So when the body loses around 50% of body proteins, then the people may die. So may die. So causes of death. So exact cause of death is not always clear. So most possible causes. So that is during the third, that increased proteolysis. So which causes a loss of myofibrillary proteins from a diaphragm and intercostal muscles. So limits the ability to cough, reduce the efficiency of fluid removal. So that lead to the pneumonia. So due to the pneumonia, maybe the persons die. So other possible causes is that is the decreased level of proteins. So that also lead to the decreased synthesis of antibodies. So when the persons have a less amounts of antibodies, then they are not able. So this is the picture of this prolonged starvations. So during these prolonged starvations, the major source of energy is a ketone body. So which is given by this thick arrow. So during starvations, so the utilizations of protein, that is three phases. So on the early starvations, what happened? There is the increased proteolysis. So on that time, what happened? The body uses these proteins. So after the proteolysis, it releases a free amino acids, and this free amino acid is utilized by a liver for a synthesis of, or that means it is necessary for a glucose homeostasis. And so this the increasing of this protein degradation, it is started in the three phases. First phase, there is the increased proteolysis. Second phase, there is the decreased proteolysis. There is a proteolysis is there, but it's a slow this proteolysis gets slowed down, and this slowdown of this proteolysis is due to the body's adaptations. That is the majorly that brain's adaptations on a ketone bodies for or as a source of energy. So brain, when the brain is depends upon a ketone bodies as a source of energy, then there is a decreased proteolysis. So once this fat stored is also exhausted, then now the body is totally depend upon a protein as a source of energy. So on the third step, then what happened? There is the increased proteolysis again occurs. So this increased proteolysis, that is the loss of proteins of around 50% for total bodies stores, then the people that may die, and the causes of death are the different. It's not always clear. So the possible reasons, possible different reasons are there. So among that, one is that is the due to the pneumonia, and the pneumonia may be occurred because the losses of these myofibrillary proteins, which is present in a diaphragm and intercostal costal muscles. So the this loss of these muscles in this diaphragm and intercostal muscles, so it limits the ability to cough, so that uh, there is the depositions of fluids, and which ultimately lead to the pneumonia. And other possible causes, loss of proteins that lead to the unavailability, that means a low synthesis of antibodies. So if the antibodies are not present in our body, then the person is again susceptible for a disease. And next is that is the maybe so maybe the persons die due to the cardiac failure. And the possible mechanism for a cardiac failure is, so there is deficiency of amino acids that lead to the decreased level of albumins. So when the albumin level is decreased, then what happens? There will be the increase in colloidal osmotic pressure. So when there is the colloidal osmotic pressures, that increases the viscosity of a blood. So when there is the increased blood viscosity, then heart have to be pumped harder. So ultimately lead to the cardiac failure. So changes in excretion of urinary nitrogen. So generally it is urinary nitrogen. So it is a trademark for a losses of proteins present in a body. So initially there is a initially excretion, these nitrogen excretions in a urine. So that determine the consumptions of protein before a starvation. So during the second and third week of starvation, so there is a gradual decline in these nitrogen excretions, and the values are very low. And this signifies that there is a decreased proteolysis takes place. And again, this one, but just before a date. So when tissue proteins are being catabolized for energy, so urinary nitrogen excretions again rise, and this rising of urinary nitrogen excretions in a urine, that is also called as a pre-mortal rise. So water and mineral metabolism during a starvation. So extracellular fluid is reduced during the first few days. So that is due to the stoppage of water intake. So when the person is now stopped to intake of water, then there is a slightly reduce in the extracellular fluid. So on prolonged starvations, this intracellular fluids volume also may also fall by 25% or more. There is a loss of intracellular potassium, so which cause a reducing of total body potassium. And now there what happened now there is slightly expansions of extracellular fluid, and due to the this one shrinkage of this cell intracellular fluids and cell values, so it lead to the expansion of these extracellular fluids. And there is a no need of drinking water. So since the, the water which is necessary for a body is sufficiently produced by a metabolism, so that's the needed water needed for a body is supplied by a metabolic water. And the persons may have a edema, so because of this decreasing in albumin level and expansion of extracellular fluids, so it may lead to the edema of a body. So generally, in our body, this one fat-soluble vitamins they can be stored, but water-soluble vitamins they cannot be stored. So that during this one starvations for a prolonged period, there may be the deficiency of these water-soluble vitamins, and the deficiency of water-soluble vitamins they lead to the debility of the body, and that lead to the death. So on basal metabolic rate, so the hormonal effects on starvations is that is the increased concentrations of glucagon and growth hormone, and then there is the decreasing of insulin hormones. Along with that, there is also the productions of thyroxines is also reduced. So and that lead to the decrease in basal metabolic rate, body temperature, pulse rate, and blood pressure, and that may be the so that the body is more vulnerable to infections, and all these lead to death in a prolonged starvation. So now summary of these metabolic adaptations during starvations. So prolonged starvation, so that is, or this intermediate starvation, so that is started as soon as the glycogen depleted. So free amino acids in muscles are released to be deaminated and converted to glucose to be used primarily by the brain. So this brain is totally depends upon the glucose as a source of energy, so that as soon as the glycogen depleted to provide this glucose to the brain, the free amino acids in the muscles are released to be deaminated and converted to glucose in the liver for the supply for the brain. So after depletion of these free amino acids, muscle proteins is broken down to provide amino acids, and the rate of protein degradation is high in order to provide sufficient glucose for the brain. So amino acid necessary for a gluconeogenesis during this early stage of starvations, that is provided by two sources. One is the free amino acids stored in the muscles, and next one is the degradations of muscle protein itself. So during prolonged starvations, the rate of protein degradation progressively decreases as some of the energy requirement by the brain is provided by oxidations of ketone bodies. So on the prolonged starvations, the brain slowly adapted to the ketone bodies for its energy sources, so that the rate of protein degradation is decreased. So again, when fat stores are depleted, so brain now utilizes only glucose, So this for the energy to the brain, it is totally depends upon the glucose and this stage. So there is an increased breakdown of protein in the muscle and other tissues. So as soon as the protein is depleted, the persons get die. So the body utilizes these three sources of energy during a starvation. Is in the first counter, it uses a carbohydrate as a source of energy. As soon as carbohydrate get depleted, then it utilizes the fats, and as soon as its fat is also exhausted, then now the body totally depends upon protein as a source of energy. Again, the protein is also this one depleted. The people may die. So people get died. So this is all about the biochemistry of starvations, and these notes are prepared by using these books. Thank you for your glucose. So the process is known as a gluconeogenesis. So and this gluconeogenesis is necessary for a maintaining of blood glucose level